Yo, what's going on, y'all? Nate Savage, Savage 5050. Yo, this is my first live. See who going to tune in with me. All right. We live. So what about what y'all guys think about Officer Potter, right? You know, Officer Potter, she got sentenced and found, well, she didn't get sentenced yet, but she's been found guilty of killing Dante Wright. That's a crazy situation right there. I think that what she did was extremely wrong. She's an incompetent officer, that's for sure. She's getting a sentence. She's going to be sentenced. I don't know how much time she's going to get, but I'm thinking she might serve over 10 years. But we have to acknowledge, as Black people, especially, that just because she killed a young man, he also was doing something extremely wrong. He was trying to escape and resist arrest when he was already caught. It was already like maybe 5 or 6 officers on the scene, and he still tried to get into his vehicle and disappear. Yo, JH556. Hey, what's going on? I'm doing my first live. So anyway, Potter, she killed Dante Wright, and she been found guilty. I don't blame the jury. I think her consequences may be too extreme, because I do believe that Officer Potter, it was accidental. I don't believe it was done purposely. So she might serve. She's going to be sentenced. We'll see what that is. And then another thing I wanted to talk about is that this truck driver that got 110 years. Another negligent situation. Real negligent. Like, of course, like you know, and I know what it's like, because I was an over the road truck driver before. And when you going down these mountains, even coming out of Pennsylvania and Donder's Path going into California, and then even down there in Colorado, where the dude got into that accident and it was a fatality, 4 people was killed. I-70 in Colorado is a restricted road for a lot of companies, where they don't even send their truck drivers down that road, because they know that it's so many trucks that lose brake control. Because look, and this is the reason why I say it was the truck driver fault. Your brakes don't just automatically go out as a truck driver. I know he's saying brake failure and all of that. Yeah, it's some truth to that. It was brake failure, but it was his fault that the brakes failed. Because when you're going down a mountain, your brakes in a truck, you're hauling like 80,000 pounds plus. It's going to start smoking first. You're going to smell it. You're going to smell it. Even inside of your cab, you're going to smell your brakes, because they hot. And then you're going to get smoke from your brakes. So you got time to pull over. Once you let them smoke and the smoke become darker and darker and darker, next thing you know, it's going to catch fire. And once your brakes catch on fire and you're 80,000 pounds plus going down a steep mountain, you're not going to be able to stop. It was definitely just like Mrs. Officer Potter, just like she made a mistake and it was her fault. This truck driver, he made a mistake as well. It was his fault. And he had a fatality of 4 people being killed. And then on top of the 4 people being killed, several others was injured severely. So I think that the truck driver, 110 years, I think that's a bit excessive. Although he was offered a deal to only possibly do 10 years, but he decided to fight it. And you already know, when you don't take the plea agreement, you get to serve all the time possible. It's, you know, they're not going to cut you no breaks if you decide to fight. And I think he was a little arrogant for not taking the 10 years, because, dude, you know you did something wrong, period. Anyway, let's see what's going on in the chat. Not much. Saw the notification, so thought I'll come in to say hi. Yeah, I appreciate that, JH556. Hey, you're like a loyal supporter of mine. You got to, what city are you from? What state you live in? I don't even know. Both cases was negligent. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yo, Isaac Hayes, what's going on, buddy? Thanks for tuning in to the live stream. But yeah, like I said, and Isaac, you a truck driver too. So, I mean, 110 years is a bit excessive. This guy is not. I think that the petition was, far as last time I checked, it was 5 million, sorry, people that signed the petition. So I think that he's going to wind up getting his time reduced. I highly doubt he's going to do full 110 years. I think they're going to reduce it. They probably going to wind up giving him like maybe 10 years, or not 10 years, maybe 20. He might do 20. But he's definitely not going to get out with, just based off of whatever, crying or whatever. Like they're going to make sure that the boy suffer. So anyway, so what do y'all think about this Candace Owens interview with Donald Trump? They was talking about the COVID and Trump opinion on that, and Trump is like pro-vaccination. However, Trump, from what I got from it, is not in favor of forcing the vaccination on the American people, and he's also not in favor of forcing children to wear a mask. So I think that Trump is pro-freedom. I don't believe that he's like Joe Biden, where Joe Biden wants to force companies, your job, any walks of life you want to participate in, you're going to have to get a vaccination. Now, to me, that's completely ridiculous. So Trump is more freedom than Joe Biden. Joe Biden is like, look, I'm a dictator. Y'all gonna do what I say, and if you ain't vote for me, then you ain't black. That's his rules. If you ain't for the vaccination, you a white supremacist. You're a Republican. You're not for the black folks. All kinds of stuff. Now, I don't like the interview with Candace Owens and Trump. It was a little controversial, apparently, but like I said, I don't think Trump is a bad guy. I didn't get that he wants to. If he get back in power, Trump doesn't sound like he's trying to force everybody to get a vaccination. So that's what I got from it. Trump let them experiment on us. I mean, Operation Warp Speed was Donald Trump, right? So Trump was always in favor of the vaccination, is what I'm saying, but he never was in favor of forcing us to get vaccinated. He was always like, hey, get vaccinated. And he was trying to get the kids back in school. He didn't want to keep everything shut down and everything. And if you remember, Trump was like trying to shut everything down when the Democrats was like, keep everything open. So basically, whatever Trump wanted to do, or whatever Republicans want, the Democrats are just going to do the complete opposite. So maybe if all Republicans jump up and say, we're all in favor of vaccination, we want to force everybody to get vaccinated, Democrats are going to be like, no, it shouldn't be forced. You guys don't care about the Constitution. So whatever Republicans want, the Democrats just want the complete opposite. I'm on the fence about Trump, honestly. I could understand that. I mean, I think that Trump is. Do you think he's the same man he was when he first was running back in 2015, going into the election of 2016? You think he completely changed? I don't think so. I think Trump is still a true patriot who is for the American people. I don't think that he completely flipped, because he really didn't change from when he was in office, because he was always pro-vaccination. He just was never in favor of forcing it. And then, what they do is they try to divide us by using terminology like you're an anti-vaxxer. And honestly, there's no such thing is an anti-vax. They call you an anti-vaxxer simply if you don't want to get vaccinated. That doesn't mean you're anti-vax. That just means that you're not in favor of forcing the vaccination on everybody else. But soon as you don't want to get it for your personal life, then they're like, oh, you're an anti-vaxxer. But I lost my business when he shut us down, so I'm still mad. I do think he changed some. Yeah. Um, yeah, I mean, but was it completely Trump choice? Because at the end of the day, you got the governor in South Dakota, Naomi, I believe that's her name. She never shut down her state. So at the end of the day, you got to blame it's really your local government. Like who is the governor of the state you live in? Because really it was never necessarily like the whole country have to shut down. It was more so the governors is responsible for their state. And then on top of that, the mayor was responsible. So really, Trump never really signed like an official order where the whole country had to shut down, because there were several states that never participated in it. It was some states that stayed open. They allowed the kids to go to school. They never forced a mask mandate. So really, was it really Trump, or will you blame your local government, your mayor, your governor? Because they had the freedom to run their state how they wanted to run it. Kind of like these sanctuary cities run their state the way they want to run it. He might be compromised. That's why he is going along with the negligence. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I still feel like Trump is for the people. I don't think Trump is trying to be a dictator, and that's just my thing on that. Um, so we got what about the other situation, right? Did you guys hear about this crazy story down there in Baltimore? It was a story in Baltimore where it was a man who killed his girlfriend and he killed his ex-wife. And he actually made like a Facebook Live or an Instagram Live where he was actually confessing what he was going to do wrong. And I actually covered this a story about this on my channel. But our governor sold out to China. So look at what happened here in Texas during that horrible freeze. I'd rather Trump was president than Biden for sure. Garcia, I agree with you 100%. I agree with you 100%. Oh yes, killer simp. What was he a simp? Yeah. At the end of the day, Garcia, I agree with you. I agree with you. I'm not necessarily going to call him a simp, but I know exactly what you mean, because you still have to control your anger. You can't just overreact and take the law into your own hands. I understand there's children involved. Custody battles could be devastating, especially for fathers, because we all know that for the most part, the courts are going to rule in favor of the woman, right? And what I'm finding out, the reason why this guy killed his ex-wife and he killed his current girlfriend is because his ex-wife said that he was touching the kids. So he got, I'm assuming, all his rights stripped away immediately. And we all know, especially as men, and with this whole Me Too movement, yeah, women could say you did stuff to them, and then a woman could say you touched some kids, and on top of that, they could automatically just take away all your rights. Like they don't even need, when these accusations about sexual assault happen, they really don't need proof. automatically you get treated like a criminal and all your rights get stripped immediately. And then you have to prove your innocence. In this guy case, he had to prove his innocence in order to regain custody of his children. So what happened was his ex-wife was already playing that game on him. And then on top of that, his new current girlfriend, who was pregnant with his baby, said that I'm gonna team up with your ex-wife and say that you did the same thing to the new baby. So this guy, depending on what kind of job you have, you're going to be dealing with CPS issues, Child Protective Services, and they're going to reported it to your job. And it looked like he was in a medical field. So it seemed like he was what you would call a high value man, because from what I've read, he's making like over $200,000 a year. And we know not that many Americans make over $200,000 a year. I don't care if you're white or black, right? So he lost his job. So he was like, I ain't got nothing to lose, when he made his Instagram live video, and he popped up at his ex-wife's house and waited for her to come outside the house, right? So when he seen her come out the house, he was like, there she go. It's over for her. And he wound up running after her. She tried to shut the door. He said he ended himself too. So he deleted himself and he deleted his ex-wife. And prior to that, he deleted his girlfriend. Custody is a big issue. And then I covered another story about a whole nother custody battle before I get into that. High value simp, right? Garcia said high value simp. That was a very sad case. Yes, JH556. That was a very sad case. And then it was another sad case prior to that, probably about maybe 3-4 weeks ago. And that was out there in Texas, right? Where the dad was going to go pick up his stepson from the mother house, and then he faced the new boyfriend. And they got into a dispute, and the father, the biological father, was like, every time I come here to pick up my son, I'm supposed to pick him up at 3:15. He's never ready. He's not available. And then the stepfather came out the house arguing with the biological father, and it was two white guys, and they going back and forth for whatever the case may be. So then, the dad went back into the house, grabbed the shotgun, and then he came back out with the shotgun, and then the dad was like, got into a little tussle with him. Then they broke apart, and then next thing you know, the stepfather shot and killed the biological father. And that was over a whole custody battle that I'm sure that could have been avoided. And in that whole situation, I blame the mother, because she probably wasn't communicating correctly with her ex-husband, the biological father, to pick up her son. So it sounded like she was playing a game, and then she got the father deleted. Now that ain't right. Now that's another situation, just like the Baltimore situation where he overreacted, because I always tell men all the time, you're better off fighting the legal way. If you have an issue with the mother, go and see the courts. Go file for emergency custody order, do something. But going to their house and wilding out, all that's going to do is get you in more trouble. And your words and everything you do can and will be used against you when you show up at a woman's house and acting a fool. My hubby is going for his CDL in January, hoping it will give us a good income boost. I'm sure it will. Truck drivers make pretty decent money. I mean, especially depending on what state you're in. They're probably, starting now, it's like you're going to start off at least like $60K a year, if not $80K a year. Most of these truck drivers are doing like 100,000. Yeah, another sad case. Way too many situations like this is happening. It's heartbreaking, and it seems the kids are always the ones paying the price. JH556. Absolutely, this is happening way too often with these custody battles. And honestly, I blame the yes, is the individual people fault for overreacting, but at the end of the day, we got to put blame on the system. It's the system that's failing, especially the system is failing the fathers, and the system is failing the children. Because the system, I don't understand. Family court runs off of its own rules. Honestly, I'd rather go to criminal court than family court, because family court is just all based off of emotions and how the judge feel. Criminal court is actually based off of the facts, and is also based off of all the facts got to get laid down, and it's not what you know, is what you can prove in court, and it's beyond a reasonable doubt. So reasonable doubt is inside of criminal court, but family court is just an opinion. It's just that how the judge feel. So the woman could just start crying, and then they could just give her the rights because she cried. So family court is all based off of emotions. They don't even have the best interest of the children most of the time in family court. Now, don't get me wrong, there is some judges that understand the game that will rule correctly, but family court, I don't know what system they are using, but it's not like criminal court where the facts actually matter. It's just family court is just all emotional, when criminal court is based off of the facts and reasonable doubt. You ain't wrong. What's going on, man? You ain't wrong. Y'all gotta let me know where y'all from. He's gonna get his hazmat. She was narcissistic and she used her flying monkey to kill the ex-husband. Um, yeah. Basically, I blame the mother, of course, but on top of that, like I said, the system is the number one contributor to why all of these people are having these domestic issues and these custody battles. It's the system. The system is not ruling in favor of the best interests of the children, period. I would always knock on the door and walk back to the sidewalk and wait for my daughter. You ain't wrong. You ain't wrong about that. That's your best way to do it. I had a buddy where he's thinking about carrying a body cam on him all the time, especially when it comes to dealing with his kid's mother. Because think about it, as a man, we are automatically look like these big, strong creatures. So when we show up to the house, a woman could just say, "Oh, he threatened me," or and file a restraining order on you, and then automatically you can wind up losing your gig. Especially depending on what kind of job you got. Just a restraining order alone could get you fired or get you to take a leave of absence. Imagine if you're a police officer. Imagine if she say you touched the children and you're a police officer or something like that, or you're a school teacher or a school principal. It's a wrap. Sonia Scrapbook, what's going on? Hey, Sonia, yo, make sure y'all subscribe to Sonia Scrapbook. She got a decent YouTube channel where she talk about a lot of political stuff that's going on in the news. Okay, JH556, Texas. You're from Texas. I'm from Palm Springs, California. Okay, Garcia, South Texas. You ain't wrong. 39 miles from the border, huh? You see a lot of immigrants out there. Sonia, I know you're from New York State. What's up? It's Brandon, your fellow coworker. What's going on, Brandon? How you doing, man? That's all it takes sometimes. Absolutely. When it comes to these, and that's the thing. And I always, when I grew up, I used to always see men. They had to stay away from their children. And most of the time, men love their children. Men love their children. A lot of times you have to step back and raise your children from a distance because of the mother. The system is in favor of the mother in majority of these cases. I'm not saying 100% all the time, but the statistic point them my way. 90% of cases, women win custody, period. Regardless of what, like I said, it's not based off of the facts. It's family court is based off of emotions. So the last few times before I got custody of my daughter, I had to show up with PD in San Antonio. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and that's the thing. And then even when you file for custody and you get partial custody, when you go to pick your kid up, the other parent could just say, "Oh, I don't want to give you the kid," regardless of what the court paperwork say. And guess what else? The local police, they're not going to do anything. The local police are going to tell you it's a domestic issue. So you got to fight with the court, and then you got to go see the judge. Then the judge got to file a new order and basically sign an order for the sheriffs to go to the house to get your children out of there. So I understand. I like now I'm more understanding on the reason why a lot of men are not really involved in their children's life. And it's not always the man's fault. It's sometimes, I can't even say it's the mother's fault. It's the system fault for failing the children. Because it's been proven time and time again, the same way men can lie, women can lie as well. But the way the family court system is set up is only men can be the liars, right? None of it don't make no sense. So anyway, that's what's going on with the guy who basically killed his ex-wife. He killed his current girlfriend, and he deleted himself, so he don't even got to deal with the consequences no more. So now only the children got to suffer, and that's going to be a whole issue where hopefully they got a family member that could basically take over. And if they don't have a family member that could, proceed custody over them, then they just going to be more kids lost in the system. I always carry the stamp court order when I go to pick up my daughter. That stamp carries a lot of weight. You ain't wrong. Yeah, it depends on what state you're in, right? Because it does carry a lot of weight. You ain't wrong. But the thing is, you have to get a police report. You got to call the cops and get a police report. And then you have to have the DC number. Then you got to pay for the police report and then go to court and then explain to the judge she's not following a court order. So you ain't wrong. It does hold weight, but that's still a long process because look, the cops are not going to do nothing for you when you call them. All they're going to do is say, they're going to knock on the door. The woman might answer and they're going to say, hey, he has a court order saying he has legal right to his child at this time for these days. And she's going to say, no, I don't care. Slam the door in the cop face. The cop is going to write you a DC number saying that they came out and tell you to go to court and say she violated the custody agreement. It's because the kids are truly the victims. Absolutely. But the thing is, and I'm dealing with a custody battle right now, but as much as the other parent do disgraceful things and try to lie on you, the kids, especially if you're dealing with like 6, 7-year-old, 8-year-old, 9-year-old children, that's at the age where they're going to be old enough to know exactly who was wrong and who was right. Because when they get like 13, 14, 15, 16, they're going to start coming to the realization of what was fictional and what was actually reality. And if the mother is doing all the lying or the father is doing all the lying, the kids are going to recognize that game. And then they're going to, it's going to be a greater chance of them resenting the parent that was playing all the games. So I always say it's not good to play no games on either side. interference with child custody. They can arrest the custodial parent and you are being denied to pick up the child. Okay, well, that's good. That's how it should be. You ain't wrong said out there in Texas, they could actually arrest the parent who's in violation of the custody order. See, I didn't know that. See, they don't do that up here in the Northeast. They don't do that. They just tell you to go F yourself and let the courts play out. You know, you could go there with the cops all you want, but that's good. That's how it should be. When they write an order and it's stamped by a judge, that should be all the proof you need to show the cops she's committing a crime. Officer, she's committing a crime, or he. If a man is doing that's completely wrong too. That's completely wrong. Read this Texas law, read it and talk to your state rep. Yeah, okay. I mean, that's what matters. You ain't wrong. Is we need to start voting on these local elections, because really a lot of the times is the local politicians that put this stuff in place, and we need laws to change, because the more they ignore men, the cry for men, and the more men go off and wild out, and the more people get killed throughout these custody battles, I guarantee you what's going to happen is they're going to change the law once people start being killed and murdered over these custody battles. It's basically a contract you both sign. Yeah, I mean, it is. And your biggest mistake as a parent is who you choose to have a child with. It's sad parents can't step back sometimes and realize what they are doing to the kids. I understand sometimes it's not both parents, it's one trying to cause all the problems. JH556, absolutely. The thing is, sometimes you got to love your children more than you hate the other parent. And that's on both sides, with men and women. You got to love the children more than you hate the other parent. And somebody that truly loved their children, they wouldn't try to hurt the other parent, because at the end of the day, it's only going to traumatize the children. Families need to stay together. Some people just need to be adults and be the parent and raise your kids. Too many single families are raising that's deficiently kids to be community turds. I agree with you on that. Dysfunctional kids wind up being part of the system that they wind up going to jail. They wind up getting on welfare, food stamps, and then they just don't have no respect for anybody in society. They grow up to be ignorant degenerates to society, because people are not. Like I said, it hurt the children. It just hurt the children. These public schools are completely brainwashing the kids. Well, they're brainwashing the kids. I mean, the number one thing they're brainwashing kids with is racism. Pushing critical race theory. They're pushing Black Lives Matter and all of that stuff. Public school is hazardous. I could agree with that, Garcia. Agree, Savage, 100%. The kids come first. Absolutely. So anyway, it's crazy. How did y'all do on Thanksgiving? How was everybody Thanksgiving? I know I went to my girl house, right? And they was like religious COVID freaks. The first thing her family asked me, "Are you vaccinated?" I was just like, "Yeah, I got vaccinated," because I didn't want to get kicked out because the food was smelling so good. And they were sitting there with the mask on, but then when the food was ready, everybody took their mask off. And I live up here in New Jersey, so everybody at the stores are walking around still with a mask on. Like they're afraid. I mean, you at the grocery store, you touching fruit, you're touching boxes, you're touching bread, everything, and then you're just like touching your pockets, and you're dealing with the mask. You're taking a mask on, putting it in your pocket, everything, and the masks aren't scientifically proven whatsoever, right? So since the mask ain't scientifically proven, why the hell do we care about wearing a mask? The mask seemed more problematic if you ask me. Yep, my niece is in 8th grade and she claims to be a BLM. Her stepfather is a cop in Pennsylvania. The family police, you ain't wrong. Yeah, absolutely. You know what? The families that my girlfriend family, that they was like really on top of that. Like everybody, they want to make sure everybody's vaccinated. Everybody got their follow-up shots and all kinds of stuff like that. It's like, why do you care if I'm vaccinated? If you believe the vaccine work, why do you care if I get one? And the same thing with the mask. If you believe that the mask work, why do you care if I have a mask on? You, your mask is protecting you from everybody, right? So don't worry if I got one on. So I never understood that. Like, why do they care about that? That's come on. And then they're just like everybody's vaccinated. So and so has caught COVID. That they're like running stats. Like, you know how when people watch football, they some people keep track of the stats. Some people are keeping track of like all the COVID stats. Like so and so got COVID, so and so got the bug, whatever, and they're just like keeping track of everybody that got it. Yeah, it's crazy. So, what y'all think about? And this is crazy that more people ain't talking about it. It should be like one of the number one stories that's going on in the country. Anybody pay attention to what's going on in California? California is out of control. Too bad Larry Elder didn't get elected to try to change it around. But California, the crime is crazy out there. California is a place where you can go to do whatever the hell you want. It's criminals from the East Coast who's going out to the West Coast because they know you could get away with whatever you want to get away with. They had out there in Cali, they had they left their trunks open and they're leaving their front door open to their car with a sign on the door saying that my front door is open. Please don't break the window. Because out there in Cali, criminals are breaking windows now, and you could just run up in somebody's car and the police ain't going to do nothing because you're not going to get prosecuted at the end of the day. There's no prosecution for breaking in people's cars out there in California, especially Southern California is completely out of control. I believe the culture is completely different in Northern California. I pay zero attention to California. Yeah, stay away from California. I mean, the weather is beautiful, but other than that, it's completely nonsense out there. I mean, you can go into a store with a garbage bag and start loading a trash bag up with all kinds of goods. You know, you can go in a Foot Locker and run right to the back of the store and get the exclusive LeBron James sneaker. Because I know y'all love the LeBron James Nikes. So you can go to the back of the store, steal all the LeBrons you want. As long as your LeBron James sneakers don't add up to be more than $1,000, the cops can't do nothing. And they got a security guard where all his job is to do is stand in Foot Locker or stand in Kay's Jeweler or whatever store. The security guard just got to show up and keep breathing and they'll get a paycheck. I wonder what's the minimum wage out there in California. Anybody know the minimum wage? Because if they paying like $25 an hour to be a security guard out there in California, I might actually have to join them. Because I would just sit down and look at my phone all day, my whole 8-hour shift or 10-hour shift. You ain't got to do nothing. Because as soon as you touch somebody, you're going to get fired and you probably catch a case. Oh, yeah, I see the link. I've been uploading videos after videos of people pooping in the streets of LA. Garcia, absolutely. I mean, out there in California, what's the point of running a business where it's a crackhead who can take a dump right outside of your house? Not only outside of your house, a crackhead can take a dump right outside of your business that you worked your whole life to get, right? And on top of that, they got places where you can get clean heroin needles, and they're not far from people businesses. So yeah, I'm gonna go shoot up and I'm gonna take a dump right outside of your business that you and your parents or whoever worked their whole life to get. And then the people out there are so idiots, people that live out in California, these dumb Democratic people that got liberal brains, they're so stupid. They voting for the politicians that's putting this stuff in place for California to be ripped apart. The K name is above. I see you, JH556. Let me see if I can get rid of this bot up here. Okay. So, yeah, but rent is $2,500. It's $2,500, and you ain't wrong. Is that the rent out in the hood, or you gonna live in a decent place? 2,500. What is that going to get you? What is $2,500 going to get you? That's going to get you a room out there, right? I got friends addicted to fentanyl living under bushes here in South Carolina. His girlfriend died of a heart stroke, a heat stroke this summer. Wow. That's crazy. Out there in California and South California, right? Southern California is a mess. And you can, like, I literally seen videos of people that's shooting needles right outside the right outside of people businesses, and you could go out there and commit crime and do whatever you want. Hey, it's a mess. Yeah, the bot disappeared. On my end, it did. On my end, I don't see it no more. Same here in Texas. Wait, that don't go on in Texas, because what these people do that live out in California, right? They vote for the politicians who want to defund the police. They vote for politicians that want to be light on crime. And then they wonder why the city is torn apart. And then what they do with their liberal ideology, they bring their liberal ideology to Republican states. They move out to California. They move out to, they move out of California. They move into Texas, and then they go to Florida. And then my buddy out there is a cop out there in North Carolina, and that's so close to turning into a blue state because of the politics out there. Apparently, some of the cops, some of the police stations got BLM signs outside of the damn precinct. Once BLM take over the police, it's over. Same here in Texas. You ain't wrong. Okay, it disappeared for me. Gave him some pants and clothes. His buddy was hurting on fentanyl. Okay, I read that. Most, if not all, major cities in Texas always vote Democrat. Well, that's all everywhere, because guess what? Majority of the inner cities are filled with what kind of people? It's filled up with Black people who want to be victims. And what is the Democratic Party all about? The Democratic Party is all about pushing a victimhood mentality. The Democratic Party is all, oh, you can't do it on your own. You need us to protect you. You're not smart enough to get into college on your own. You need affirmative action. You're inferior to white people, and white people are superior. That's what critical race theory is all about. Critical race theory is a tool of the Democratic Party. George Floyd was a tool for the Democratic Party. George Floyd, the unemployed drug addict, is what got Joe Biden elected in office. George Floyd syndrome is running around in all these inner cities. They're building statues up here in North Jersey. He died for Black people. St. George Floyd is what they call him. And that's what's going on in a lot of these cities, right? These cities are being brainwashed by the radical Black leaders who's telling Black people that you are Black, you're oppressed, you can't get ahead. The white man is holding you back. But the funny thing is about California and about New York City and a lot of these Democratic states that's being torn to the ground, why do everybody want to move to where the straight white Christian conservative people live? Everybody want to move to the red states. They want to move around Republicans. People don't want to stay around the inner cities where all the violence is that they're voting for. They're voting for soft on crime. So they want to move to some place that's a little more harder on crime. The white man is holding me back. Yeah, I know. The funny thing about that is I used to think that too. I used to think that the white man was holding me back. I used to think that racism was a major factor in America. Come to find out, racism doesn't even play a major factor in America. America is such a great country. I always tell the radical Blacks, go to one of these blackity black back to Africa countries and see how much respect they give you. Anna Rodriguez, subscribe. Okay, I appreciate that. You found me on Conservative Bear. Wish you a Merry Christmas too. Awesome. I always love the new subscribers. I appreciate all the support that y'all give me. Even if I only get one person that listens to me, I appreciate it because I never thought that anybody would ever listen to me. I just wanted to start a YouTube channel because I always talk about this kind of stuff, but people always wind up shutting me up because they don't want to hear it. Especially, I live in a Democratic infested area. I live in the northeast of the United States. I live in New Jersey, so I'm in one of the hearts of the liberal way of thinking. We are led to believe that, yes, Garcia, we are led to believe that racism is holding you back and you can't get ahead because of the white man, even though we live in the greatest country in the world. The Western civilization was the first civilization that recognized that slavery was wrong all around the world. And not only did we end slavery here, we fought for slavery to be abolished all around the world. Even though right now, Black people are still practicing slavery. The Black Muslims are still enslaving people up there in Northern Africa, enslaving our own people. Black people are actually the kings and queens of slavery if you actually study your history. I tell Blacks that the white man's holding me back. Also, I'm white. Yeah, I mean, hey, here's the thing about this. Sometimes white people will do stuff to mess up another white person. The same way a Black person will do stuff to mess up another Black person to make sure you can't get ahead. There's always some haters, but is the system itself racist? Absolutely not. The Black argument, it has just as many flaws in it as the feminist argument. Black people don't want to be treated equal to white people. Black people claim, oh, we fought for equality. We want equality. No, Black people don't want equality. Black people want to be treated better than white people. Women don't want to be treated equal to men. We talked about it earlier, how family court works. Women don't want to be treated equal to men. They want to be treated superior to men. So the feminist argument is crap. The Black argument is crap. You are amazing. I am loving that t-shirt. Yeah, I got this from Jesse Lee. It's amazing. He black. And this is Officer Tatum. This is the Tatum hat from Officer Tatum's site. 45 for, obviously Donald Trump. I think BLM identity politics keep us from realizing how much we all have in common. Absolutely, because what the funny thing about this is, Tech A is so crazy because they don't care about none of this stuff. The leaders, they don't care about all of the stuff that they say. The Letter Mafia group, the Democratic leadership, they don't care about none of this. Neither do all of these rich rappers or anybody who's pushing all of this crap on us, these hardcore liberals that got a lot of money. They all live in their life as hardcore capitalists. Look at Jay-Z. He goes around campaigning for the Democratic Party. People like Hillary Clinton. He goes around with his wife, Beyonce, and even LeBron James, and LeBron James is nothing but a capitalist. That's the funny thing about a lot of these Democrats with money. They're all hardcore capitalists, and they're living their personal life is hardcore capitalists, but they want to push liberalism on you. But us as conservatives, we're considered selfish people, when all we try to do is push conservative values on other people. It's much better to live your life as a Christian conservative than a radical nut job liberal. Because liberals let racism hold them down. If God is for you, no man can be against you. Racism doesn't even play a major factor. And by the way, and I tell Black people all the time, slavery wasn't even racist. Slavery had nothing to do with racism. Only if you study your history. But most Black people, they don't realize that because they know 300 years worth of history, right? Most Black people only know 300 years worth of history. And I know 3,000 years worth of history. And study history. Black people are the ones who started it. Black people love to brag about, oh, we was God first, man. We God original people. Where do you think, if that's the case, Black people are the kings and queens of slavery? So it doesn't make any sense. But like I said, the people at the top, they don't live their life like that. They want to push this ideology on us. They don't care about no global warming or climate change. They driving around in big SUVs, flying around in private jets. They don't care about none of this stuff. All of this little petty stuff they trying to push on us, they don't care about this. It don't make sense. It doesn't make sense because whenever you get a Black person that try to get in your face and say you don't know what it's like to be Black, you tell them, well, how you going to tell me about my white privilege? How you going to tell me I got white privilege and you don't know what it's like to be white? See, I'm not allowed to speak for you as a Black person, but you're allowed to speak for me as a white person. You're allowed to tell me that I got privilege and my life is easy because I'm white, right? But I can't speak about you because you're Black. But I thought y'all wanted equality. I thought y'all Negroes wanted to be treated equal to white people. No, y'all don't want to be treated equal to white people. Y'all want to be treated better than white people. Maybe we're more divided by class than race. Tech A, absolutely 100% what you said is right. That wraps it up. Look, I agree. There is a such thing as classism, but there's no such thing as racism, really. Yes, if you got more money and you grow up Black and your parents are together, your mom own a hair salon, your dad own a plumbing company, y'all grow up in the suburbs, you're going to be better off than some white broke person that grew up as trailer trash, period. Black people that got a mother and a father that's working hard and providing a better lifestyle for them, they're going to have privilege over a broke ass white person. But they want us to believe that it's racism that's holding us back and we can't get ahead because of racism. It's so idiotic, period. racism is not even something you need to even be worried about. So another thing that's going on, and I don't know if y'all paying attention, I am, but the Second Amendment is actually, it finally reached the Supreme Court. The Second Amendment is being fought up there in New York to see if civilians, American citizens, should have the right to bear arm to the extent of going outside of their home. Because right now in New York, you're not allowed, and I think, yeah, California too. There are May issue state. New Jersey is a May issue state. Also, where else? Illinois, Chicago is a May issue as well, where it's up to them if they want to give you your CCW, because they don't believe that you are wise enough or have the ability to protect yourself. Mind you, these are the same people that want to defund the police. The same people that don't believe you should walk outside your house with a firearm are the same exact people that's in favor of defunding the police. How are you going to defund the police? How can you defund the police and then tell me I don't have the right to walk outside of my house with a firearm? So you're going to guarantee me that I'm going to have a police officer as my bodyguard? No, you're on your own once you get out there. All the police do is show up after the incident took place. The police don't protect you while you're walking down the street. The police show up after the crime was committed, after you on the ground bloody. Now, I think that it's a very, very strong argument that New York is in violation of the Constitution, because what do shall not be infringed mean to you? The right to bear arms. Does the right to bear arms mean, oh, you're allowed to own a firearm? You're allowed to own a knife? Because think about it, New York and New Jersey, and I'm sure California is not the same. I don't even got to look it up. But in New Jersey, you got to have a reason to carry you got to have a reason to be able to carry a knife. You got to have a reason to be able to carry a knife. You should be, no, that shall not be infringed, the right to bear arms. I should be allowed to have a samurai sword on my back. As long as I'm not pulling it out, whipping it at people, I should be allowed to walk around with a samurai sword right on my back. Exactly. Police are reactive, not proactive. Absolutely, Garcia. Because here's the thing. You can't tell me in a crazy city like New York, where there's millions of people walking around. Out of them millions, I forget what's the population in New York City, just New York City alone. You can't tell me that everybody in New York is a good person. No, out of the millions, the multi-millions, I'm sure a few of the millions are bad people. And the criminals love it. The criminals love New York City. The criminals love Jersey. Because guess what? They know that you don't have a firearm on you. The criminals, they're going to have a firearm on them. Yo, Joel Davis, what's going on, buddy? Yo, you got to get me on one of your live streams soon enough. Okay. Oh, Joel Davis is talking about the population. It's 40 million. That's a lot of people for me to not be able to bear arms. What's in the New York Constitution? Has the state changed it? It still violates the U.S. Constitution. Ranger J, you're absolutely right. What it is these mayors and governors, they want to be our dictators. That's how they keep getting reelected, by keeping the cities full of chaos. If they ever put in laws in place and put policies in place to fix the city, and they won't do that because it is more beneficial to keep the cities messed up. They don't benefit off of the cities doing well. They benefit off of the cities being messed up. They benefit off of the schools being jacked up. the Democrats benefit off of the crime going out of control. Why do you think every place that's red, the crime rate is not nearly as high as the blue places? Everybody want to move to where the red places are. Nobody want to move to these blue states. Trust me. I'm here too, bro. Yeah, Joel, what up, man? I appreciate you tuning into my live. Okay. Yo, I'll stay tuned, Joel. I'm trying to be on that live. This is my first time going live too, Joel. Let me know how I'm doing. I never did live. I'm just like up here. So guns are the great equalizer, and the people who want to restrict them don't want us to be equal. It turns the majority of citizens into potential victims. Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, you can't tell me you're going to defund the police and take my right away to bear arms. Sonia Scrapbook, great live. I appreciate it. Yeah. Anyway, yo, tell what kind of what is y'all favorite kind of gun anyway? What do y'all have for home defense? I know all y'all guns got lost in a boating accident, but this tell what kind of guns y'all like? You're doing great. You're a natural. I appreciate that, big bro. But anyway, we're gonna I believe that the Supreme Court is gonna have no choice but to overwrite what's going on in New York, because that's one of the things that Trump did before he left office. When he got Brett Kavanaugh in, which was crazy what they put Brett Kavanaugh through, and Amy Colbert, that was the best thing that Trump did. One of the best things that Trump did throughout his presidency is give us a majority of conservative leadership amongst the Supreme Court. That's why the Democrats want to pack the court, because once they pack the court, they can do whatever. They don't really care about they don't care about the people. The Democrats, once they pack the court, I bet you they close the borders down, because then they won't have no need for illegal immigrants to come in. Because if they pack the courts, why would they need illegal immigrants when they control the whole country by the Supreme Court? That's one of the best things Trump did, is get them to Amy Colbert and Brett Kavanaugh got in that Supreme Court justice. So I do believe that the laws will reverse in a lot of these anti-gun states that's in violation. Okay, Garcia like to carry a 38 special. Hey, you know what? What you got? 6-shot or 5-shot? I mean, the averagely you ain't really going to use more than 3 or 4 bullets on average if a situation do occur. Like, I get it. A lot of people do like the capacity, Garcia. A lot of people like to have the semi-automatics with, where you could put like 17 magazine clip in it or something, or 10 clip. But you really, honestly, if you look it up, the average gunfight is you're not really going to shoot more than 3 or 4 times. So you could, a 38 special is a perfect self-defense, home defense gun. Although I think a shotgun is better for home defense, but for carrying purposes, absolutely. I have different hammers and fishing poles. You ain't wrong. I guess he uses fishing pole, huh? Draco. AR-15, 9mm, 45, and the Mossberg 590. But Joel, you lost all your guns in a boating accident too. You ain't got no guns. I know I don't got none. You getting an AK? Oh yeah, I like that. And an M16 next year. That's my goal for now. Absolutely, man. We got the right to bear arms. Let's take advantage of it. Buy it up and get some ammo. The price of 9mm I seen it. Now you could get a box of 9mm 50 for about under $20. You can find it for like $16 now. You remember a couple of months ago, you was paying like $60 or $50 for a box of for 9mm. For a box of 50 and 9mm. That's unheard of. Garcia Young's got 6 shots. Okay. That's all you're gonna need. I mean, for the most part, you if anything happened, you're probably not gonna need more bullets than that. Of course, more is always better, but I think that's a good carry gun. I would just say I don't recommend trying to come through our door. JH556. Hey, I understand you might got a cannon. You might got a old school cannon from the 15 or 1600s. So we don't want to come through your door. Make sure y'all stay out of JH556 door. Unless you got permission. My carry is a 45. Absolutely. I mean, depending on what you got, if you got a 1911, then I think the capacity, usually the magazines are like 10-round magazines. But I prefer a bigger bullet. I prefer a bigger bullet than a smaller bullet, even though you get less rounds. But a 357 personal carry. Okay. That's a good gun. That way you could get the 38 special if you can't find the 357. You never been hooked with a fishing accident. I carry okay, Tech A, you carry a Ruger LCR 38 special. You got the 9mm as well. How much y'all buying ammo for? How much y'all spending on 9mm now? I'm finding it for like $17, $16 a box now. Yo, let everybody know where to get the cheap ammo. Y'all know any websites where you can get some cheap ammo for everybody? Yeah, that's a boating accident. Yeah, exactly. Hey, Joel Davis, I ain't got no guns in my house. I can tell you that now. I know you don't got no guns. We lost them all. We don't have them. I sold my guns to Walmart. Walmart gave me some money with their buyback program. So I got rid of all mine. Prices are still inflated. Yeah, they are, but they went down. I seen now you could get 45 ACP. I seen that for $22 for a box of 50. That's not bad for 45. You just got to shop around. You ain't wrong. Make sure you shop around, because your local gun stores, they're expensive. They charging up for ammo. Don't go to your local gun stores. Buy it online. Yeah, her performance is in her name. Laughing my ass off. You ain't wrong. Laughing. Yeah, but you know what? You gotta check it out. Like, check out the prices of ammo in different places. Check it out online, because the stores, they price gouging. And the most important gun you're gonna have is the one you got for self-defense, your carry gun. A lot of the times we like to collect guns, but that's just going to be, collectible. Your most important gun that you need to practice with all the time is the one that you're going to be carrying on the regular. The one you're going to keep under your pillow. You know what I mean? I saw this all coming under Obama, so I was stacking up then. Okay, so you got it on early. You seen it when the fallen Messiah was in office, that the guns was going to be under attack and ammo was going to be under attack. Yeah, because right now you could find guns. There was a time where you couldn't even find guns, like months back, like last year around this time, you couldn't even find firearm nowhere. It was like you couldn't find a basic Glock. They didn't even have Glocks out here. They didn't have nothing 9mm. 9mm bullets was completely sold out. You couldn't even find a 38 special when a whole so-called pandemic started. You know, when the pandemic started, you couldn't even find it. But anyway, y'all, I appreciate y'all joining me for sure. Everybody that joined me, I love it. I love all the support, man. I love all the support that y'all giving me. I appreciate everybody who be watching my videos. I mean, without the First Amendment, we ain't gonna have no right to even speak about protecting the Second Amendment. Yeah. The best way to stop price gouging for ammunition is to not to participate in the price gouging. Wait till that ammo go down. Right now, I refuse to pay $60 for a box of 9mm. I'm not paying $60 or $70 for a box of 9mm at this point. But if you ain't got, I mean, unless you're literally, if you have nothing, then you got to do what you got to do. If you ain't got nothing. Great stream. You're a natural. Keep it up. Yeah, Tech A. I appreciate that. Tech A been with me for a while, man, since I like first started my YouTube channel. Yo, let me know what city you in. I think you said it earlier. I had a friend who had his FFL. He told me then they will choke hold the ammo. Yeah, yeah, a lot of people caught on early that that the ammunition was going to go up. But did your friend JH556 did your friend tell you that you better stack up on toilet paper last year? I bet your friend didn't know that. Reloading ammo sounds interesting. I get it, but you know what? A lot of the times that ammo that they've reloaded, I hear sometimes they don't the bullets don't always be good. But I think that's rare. You probably shoot 100 bullets and only one might not work for the reloaders. The reloaders, you really got to hope that they know what they're doing, because if they don't know what they're doing, you don't want to pay for a bunch of bad ammo. During Obama years, I was driving by the Colibys and brought about 500 in ammo because all the stores on the border were completely sold out. I get it. Hey man, whenever you see that ammo, buy it, especially if you could catch it on a good deal, you know. Okay. Your dad does reloading. That's good. I mean, hey, whenever you could get it cheap, get it. And if your dad does reloads, you know, make sure you pick up them shells. Make sure you get all your shells. Ephrata, but I live in Coatesville for a while. Okay, what is that, Nick? Load it yourself. See, sometimes y'all go with these names, you know, on YouTube, and I probably know who y'all are, but y'all go by different names on YouTube. Load it yourself. Like I said, Ranger J, like you can load it yourself, but you got to know what you're doing. You got to know how to you got to make sure you know what you're doing when you're reloading. You don't want half of your bullets to fire and half to not. We do have to anyway before the cows come home. Try to eat the cast and laugh out loud. Yeah, Nick talk about you and wear your shirt all the time. Yeah, I was wondering because when you said Tech, when you said you from Ephrata and live in Coatesville, I'm like, yeah, you gotta know Nick or something. That's what's up, man. I'm happy that he's enjoying that shirt. I'm happy that he's enjoying that shirt. All right. I'm Kevin Samuels. It takes time to find someone who can help you. It's not terribly hard. What, to help you find cheaper ammo? Your cows formed the militia. They need the brass too. Yeah. Reloading. Okay. Yeah, reloading, of course. Yeah, if you could find somebody that could do it cheap, but right now ammo is kind of back down, but it's not because 9mm you used to be able to get a box of 50 for about $8. But now you can find it for about 15 or 16 bucks. There's a channel that shows how to reload. I don't know if they are still up though. I don't know, but let me know about it if you see it. Like, let me know about that channel if you if you find it. You know Kevin Samuels? Yeah, Garcia. Yeah, I know Kevin Samuels. Everybody know Kevin Samuels. He's the Godfather. What you mean? Kevin Samuels is the Godfather. He break it down to women and let them know how it is. Let them know that some of them are delusional out here. Some things you might not like Kevin Samuels say, but a lot of stuff he say is true. Just like Jesse Lee Peterson. A lot of people might not like some of the stuff that Jesse Lee Peterson say, but you can't prove him wrong. His philosophies are 100% on point. Find someone to teach you. It's not hard to reload. Is it a machine that you need? I don't know. I never looked into it. There's channels out there that's still up. Well, you know what? I got to find out if it's a machinery that you need, but I know you've really got to pay attention to what you're doing because I know you could get some bad ammo if you don't know what you're doing. But yeah, I appreciate everybody that's tuning into my live stream, man, and everybody that's been supporting me and helping me get new subscribers and helping me work my way to hopefully to get 1,000. I want to get 1,000 subscribers. I'm trying to get up there with Joel Davis. I'm trying to be up there with him. JLP is awesome. Definitely not a beta. That's true. I got him on my shirt. Stops having sex out of wedlock, Jesse Lee say. Okay. Yeah, we gonna check it out. I'm actually gonna look into that. I'm gonna try to find it, see if I see any reloaders on the YouTube so I could learn how to do it because especially the guys that shooting out of if you're shooting out of a revolver, then yeah, it's easier to keep track of your brass. If you're shooting a revolver, it's easy to keep them shells. But when you're shooting out of a semi, they going everywhere. Scott Ford, what's going on, brother, man? I appreciate it. When you gonna have me back on your channel? You've been telling me you're gonna have me back on. I've been waiting. I'm gonna have you back on mine soon. I guess I'll shoot you a text message. It's expensive to start reloading, but in the long run, it will be beneficial. You ain't wrong, absolutely. It will be beneficial, and you'll be able to make some money off of it under the table. You can make some money, you can make some cash money under the table. Everybody always looking for some ammo, especially if you reload in popular ammunition, 9mm all day. Very, very soon. Okay, Scott Ford, I'll be looking forward to that. I promise. Oh, a promise don't really mean much from a white man. Just use super glue to keep them together. I never said it was cheap. Yeah, I could imagine it ain't cheap. I could imagine it ain't cheap. Yeah, buddy. The Scott Ford Show. January, I'm going to get a bunch of interviews in. Scott Ford is another YouTuber, by the way. The Scott Ford Show. He says a lot of decent stuff, man. I would recommend everybody subscribe to the Scott Ford Show. He definitely one of the people that supported me when I was like, I think I had like 20 subscribers, and he was like, I was on Occasion Conservative Show first, and then I was on a Scott Ford Show second. And what happened was he had me on his show, and we talked about racism, we talked about Joe Biden, we talked about a lot of stuff. You can look it up on my channel, the Scott Ford Show. You ain't wrong. It is my friend who passed away, who I had his FFL left. He left it to you. Reloading equipment, a lot of other fun toys. I gave the reloading stuff to my dad too, add to his. Okay, so somebody left you some stuff, so that probably made it a lot cheaper for you to get started, but you handed it over to your dad. You ain't wrong. Yo, you ain't wrong is such a funny YouTube name. You ain't wrong is a funny YouTube name. I love it. And you ain't wrong been a supporter on my channel for a long time. Love you, man. Yeah, man. Definitely. Scott Ford, the Scott Ford Show. Keep it coming, man. Why the hell aren't you subscribed to the Scott Ford Show? Or why the hell aren't you watching the Scott Ford Show? We got to link up with the Cajun Conservative. You know, we got to get you and the Cajun Conservative together and see what happens. But anyway, y'all, we've been on here for about almost an hour and a half, not quite. But I appreciate everybody that tuned into my channel. Everybody who subscribed to my channel. Let y'all friends know about me. Let everybody know. Let everybody know that racism isn't a major factor. And white people, y'all need to start standing up for yourself against the radical blacks. When black people try to tell you about white privilege, you tell them, how can you speak on being white and you've never been white before? Because that's what they say to y'all. So make sure y'all stand up against the radical blacks. So a lot of people saying they inherited a bunch of reloading equipment from people that's passing away, huh? My other name is Conservative Vado, but I hardly use it. Yeah. Yeah, it's a good name. You ain't wrong. I appreciate it, man. And I appreciate you always checking out my videos and leaving little comments here and there. I appreciate everybody that comment on my videos I make. Y'all make me feel like I'm not doing it for nothing. Yeah, it was great talking. Yeah, take care. That's for sure. But anyway, everybody, I'm gonna try to do some more lives. This is literally my first time ever going live, ever. Well, I mean, I've been live on other people's channels, but me hosting my own live without any help besides all the help that y'all giving me in the comment box. You know, I appreciate all the help y'all giving me because y'all help me. You know, a YouTuber can only be as good as his audience, to be honest. So yeah, I'm subscribed now, so you'll catch up. You'll catch me more often. Yeah, hey man, every once in a while, make sure you comment and send a message. Let me know you're there. Yeah, I'm doing a great job. Keep it up. Hey, I'm trying to. I'm trying to be the best I can be. And it'd be a lot of stuff that happens sometimes in my personal life. So I really don't get down and dirty in YouTube the way I want to all the time. But y'all know what it's like to have personal issues, especially when you're not getting paid off of this. You know, we still all got to work regular jobs and everything. Found your other channel. You ain't wrong. Okay. Set your notification bell to all. Yes, that's right. You ain't wrong. You ain't wrong. Appreciate that. All right, but thank y'all for tuning in. Thank y'all. I appreciate it so much for all the love and support y'all giving me. I'm about to be out of here, and y'all, peace. I'm gonna talk to y'all soon. I'll be dropping a video probably sometime this week. I'll talk to y'all before New Year's. I'm gonna talk to y'all before New Year's. I think Joel might have me on his show before New Year's as well. So make sure y'all tune in. Make sure y'all stay up on all of this. All right, y'all. I appreciate that. Peace, guys. I'm gonna end this stream. Have a great night, everyone. Joel going live in a bit. All right. Thanks for letting me know. I'm about to tune into his stuff, see what he's talking about. All right. Peace.